Hey, what's up guys? I am Shun, FREERIDER. Many startups are born and broke up every time here. But challengers are trying to do it again and again. I may be an entrepreneur too. Yeah. So today's company helps us to do it easily and better. So let's enjoy this video. Thanks for your time today. So first, please tell me about Engine. Yeah.
Sure. So I work for Engine.
Yeah.
It's a non-profit organization advocacy group that supports startups. And we do this through policy analysis, research, as well as advocacy. So we look at national policy issues that our lawmakers and legislators in DC are proposing and writing, and we analyze those issues from the perspective of startups, try to understand, are these policy issues that are going to support startups or hinder the growth of startups across the country.
So how do you think current startup? So you're from Washington DC? No?
Yes, I'm from the Washington DC area.
Yeah, it's very different from here, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So DC here is a very current, very startup scene. Yeah. So what do you think about the currently startup?
So in terms of the differences between Washington DC and Silicon Valley, so that's one of the reasons our organization exists, because in DC and on Capitol Hill, people think one way. Things are a little bit slower. Things are a little bit less based on merit and more often based on the time somebody has been at an organization, and tend to think in ways that represent sort of the old ways of doing things. DC is also heavily influenced, as you might know, by organizations that pay a lot of money to get to influence DC, and a lot of those industries are old industries rather than new industries. So we try to help translate between DC and Silicon Valley and the rest of the tech community to show sort of what startups are doing and inventing, how they're innovating, and what new ideas startups and entrepreneurs out here can bring to the world, to the economy, and make sure that policymakers understand that, and that they're not just hearing from the old industries who have a lot of money and can participate in DC conversations the way startups cannot.
So what is the most major problem, do you think?
There's a number of, I think, pressing issues facing the startup community. One we were just talking about is the immigration system in this country. It's really hard for companies of all sizes, but especially smaller companies like startups who don't have a lot of resources to be able to pay immigration lawyers or have teams of people dedicated to bringing sort of immigrant talent to their companies. It's really hard to find talent and bring talent from abroad to work at U.S. companies because of visa limitations. Not only that, but for a foreign entrepreneur who wants to build their company in the United States, say somebody has a great idea, they think their market is in the United States, but they live in Japan and they're a citizen of Japan. Even if they have investors, even if they have a really great product, they probably cannot start their company in the United States. So one of the things we'd like to see is that for it to be easier for immigrant entrepreneurs, so entrepreneurs from around the country, from around the world, to come to the United States to start their own companies.
Thank you. And so when did you decide to start a startup?
So Engine was founded about 3 years ago. And I wasn't on the original founding team, but it was just after the SOPA and PIPA debates. So SOPA was a law in in Congress called the Stop Online Piracy Act. And it was going to sort of change the way copyright worked on the internet and change the liability for companies who distributed content online. So if you, it was basically going to change the way the internet works. It was a really bad law, and the startup community and people in the tech workforce and forward-thinking people came together and they opposed that law and launched a big campaign against that law. And after that campaign, Engine recognized that there needed to be a more consistent voice in Washington, D.C. to educate lawmakers about what startups were doing so that laws like SOPA were not proposed and were not considered in the first place. So that's sort of the founding story of Engine.
So what do you hope to achieve with your foundation in the future?
What do we hope to
achieve?
Well, this is a really challenging year in Congress because there's an election in November, and because of the election, Congress is reticent to do a lot this year because there's a lot of partisanship on the Hill, and the Democrats don't want to pass anything that might give the Republicans a win, and the Republicans don't want to pass anything that might give the Democrats a win. So in terms of real policy change this year, we're not expecting a whole lot, which is really too bad. But I think in the interim, we want to lay the groundwork and start making sure that we're sharing ideas and convening people and educating lawmakers so that in the next year, when we have maybe a new Congress or a new president, we can make sure that we pass things like immigration reform, as well as a number of other issues.
Please, tell me about your dream. Very final question is a very good,
What related to Engine?
Yeah, Engine, or your personality, Yeah, personality and within, something is okay.
Oh man, I wasn't ready for that question. I think, well, because I work in policy, in politics, I think at least in that sense, I hope that one day we can get past the partisan politics that we see, and we can pass laws that are truly good for all of our citizens, and that our politics are not so heavily influenced by money and by lobbying, and that people in DC can come together to pass the kinds of laws and set the kinds of values that I really believe in. So I hope one day we see that kind of reality on Capitol Hill. I hope we will.
Thank you so much.